Hey, what's up everybody and welcome back to the garage. Today I'm going to be taking a look at the Qstarz LT-8000GT Laptimer that I've had for the last 2 years. So when Qstarz sent this out to me about 2 years ago, I had a broken collarbone. So a lot of the initial testing was done in the truck. After I healed up, took it out to the track and threw it on the KX65. Now it's been living on my CRF 150R. It has completely replaced my AIM Solo 2 here. I don't use this at all anymore, and for a couple reasons. The biggest being that the battery on this is just insane. I can go multiple track days without charging in between, and it'll just keep powering through. The AIM Solo 2 will die after 1 day at the track pretty much if I run every session with it. Another reason is screen clarity. I can read this much better at the track than I could the Solo 2 here. And then finally, memory. This I've run for 2 years now, and it's logged every single lap that I've turned. It's using 2% of its internal memory. I was clearing the Solo 2 after every 2 track days. It just would not store that much information. It's not all completely upsides though. The Qstarz has never recognized Adams or Apex as a track, and so every time I'm there I have to use Simple Lap to track my times there, and then I have to hit the start button on the straight to get the lap starting the track. With the Solo 2, it always picks up Adams and Apex, and it's every time it hits the same spot on the track, it'll start tracking. So it's a little bit easier to just throw on the bike and turn on and go, whereas this requires a little bit more button input. So just recently I was at Apex and I turned my personal best over there, which was a 48.316 or something like that, which is honestly like mid-pack at best. So trying to work on that, but a couple sessions after that, I ripped the entire bottom mount out of the unit. So there's 2 mounts that normally exist on it, and I ripped the bottom one clean out. I'm going to rip the backing off of this and see if we can reinforce this mount and maybe rebuild a mount here. There are a bunch of tiny Torx T5s in the back. As a note, this is a testing sample that was sent out before the production started, so I reached out to Qstarz to see if there have been any changes between this and the current model. And if they get back to me, I'll include it in the video here. Alright, let's peel this back and see what we're working with. Alright, got a battery, little spacer, foam spacer, and let's see if we can maybe pull these connections. I'd like to just look at the back, if possible. Does this module come out? Oh, that's in there pretty tight. Okay. Might have to take the ribbon cable off. Perfect. So we can set this aside. Not worried about that. I'm guessing the battery's taped in. Okay, lift it out. Yep, just a little bit of tape there. The rear mount does look like it's got a little bit more structure around it, but this bottom mount here, it was pretty much just a flat shot across there. So what I'm thinking is I can pour some epoxy in here and just fill in some of these cavities, and it'll at least strengthen up this mount and spread the load a little bit. And for down here, might just be 3D print and maybe drop some epoxy in there as well. Although I might not use the bottom mount anymore. Might have to relocate my serial number for a second. Alright, so I went ahead and 3D printed a little block here that fits snugly down in the broken section, and then I pressed in the threaded insert using the soldering iron. I also hit the surface with a little bit of sandpaper, rough it up a bit, and I'm going to use some epoxy and get that nice and stuck in there. Also going to pour it around the other mount to try and strengthen that up a bit. It does have some of these supports that go across there, so I think it'll hold up a little bit better than the lower mount, but yeah, while we're in here. Alright, that epoxy is set up nice, and I think this is going to be a pretty strong fix. So let's get this reassembled. Let's give her a quick power on, make sure she's working. Looking good. No, not picking up a signal. So I ran outside, reconnected with the satellites, and now it is functioning just fine. Sweet. Let's button her up and she'll be done. Alrighty, looks like it's working a-okay, which is good. I didn't break anything while I was in there. And we've got a nice bottom mount again. There's a ton of epoxy in there, and hopefully this one will hold up to the abuse that I'm putting it through. If not, we'll just rock the back. I did forget to put my serial number back on, so let's do that real quick. There we go. Nice. So I reached out to Qstarz, and they did get back to me about any differences between the testing sample and the retail version, and they're both the same. So if you have the retail version, the bottom mount will still be weaker. They recommended to use the back mount for motorcycles, and that this was just an additional mount for cars and things like that. It would be nice to see that in the documentation, as well as just having some additional strength on the bottom mount here, so they're both viable options. But at least we know now, use the back mount for motorcycles. Well, thanks for hanging out with me in the garage. I'll see you in the next one.